Tonight, as you prepare to rest, remember your imagination is not a fantasy. It is the creative force of your universe. What you impress upon your mind in the final quiet moments before sleep shapes what you experience when you wake. This is not about wishing, it's about becoming. The secret is not in the asking, but in assuming. You do not ask as one who doubts, you assume the end. You rest in the feeling of already having what you desire. Wishes are for dreamers beautiful, fleeting, and often unfulfilled. But becoming, that's for builders. For those who understand that transformation begins not with hope, but with certainty, with action rooted in belief. The difference lies in how you approach your desires, not as something distant or uncertain, but as an inevitability, a truth you embody before it manifests. When you ask for change, there's often a whisper of doubt beneath the surface. I want this, but will I get it? What if I fail? These questions keep you tethered to lack, reinforcing the very thing you're trying to escape. But when you assume, when you step into the mindset of someone who already has what they seek, you shift the energy entirely. Doubt dissolves, replaced by conviction. Fear fades, replaced by faith. Suddenly, you're no longer waiting for life to catch up. You're living as though it already has. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect when it's not. It's about aligning yourself with the version of you that has achieved perfection or at least progress. Close your eyes and imagine, what does success feel like? How does confidence move through your body? What thoughts run through your mind when you know you're unstoppable? Now live from that place. Carry that feeling into every decision, every interaction, every moment of your day. Let it guide you forward, shaping your actions and anchoring your intentions. Here's the profound truth. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your vibration, to the frequency you emit through your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. When you operate from a place of assumption, you signal to the world and to yourself that what you desire is not only possible, but inevitable. And once you believe it deeply enough, the steps to achieve it become clearer, simpler, more natural. Opportunities arise, paths open, resistance falls away. But make no mistake, assuming the end doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for miracles. It means taking inspired action that stems from trust rather than fear. If you assume financial abundance, you don't quit your job recklessly. Instead, you approach opportunities with boldness and creativity, knowing prosperity is yours to claim. If you assume emotional healing, you don't ignore pain. You face it head on, secure in the knowledge that peace awaits on the other side. Assuming isn't passive, it's active alignment with the reality you're creating. So, how do you start? Begin by resting in the feeling of already having what you desire. Feel gratitude for it now, even if it hasn't fully materialized. Speak as though it's true. Act as though it's inevitable. Surround yourself with reminders of the future. You're stepping into a vision board. Affirmations, daily rituals that reinforce your new identity. Over time, this practice rewires your subconscious, pulling you toward the outcomes you've assumed as fact. And here's the most liberating part. You don't have to explain this process to anyone. Others may not understand why you carry yourself differently, why you radiate calm assurance, why doors seem to open effortlessly for you. They don't need to. What matters is that you know deep down you feel the shift, the quiet power of becoming someone who assumes rather than asks. If this resonates with you, share it. Pass it along to someone stuck in the cycle of wishing, hoping, doubting. Remind them and yourself that the secret lies not in pleading for change, but in embodying it. Together, let's create lives defined not by longing, but by living, by believing so deeply in our dreams that we step into them long before they arrive. Because this is not about wishing, it's about becoming. And becoming starts the moment you decide to assume the end. As your body relaxes, let your mind rise. As your body relaxes, let your mind rise. Let it drift into the life you want, not as a hope, but as a memory. See it clearly, hear what you'd hear, feel what you'd feel. This is the real language of creation emotion, not words. There's something extraordinary that happens when you allow yourself to sink deeply into stillness. The noise fades, the tension melts away, and in that quiet space, your mind becomes free to roam, to explore possibilities unbound by doubt or limitation. It's here, in this state of deep relaxation and heightened awareness, that true creation begins. But this isn't about daydreaming or idle fantasizing. This is about stepping fully into the reality you desire, not as something far off or uncertain, but as something already lived, already experienced. Close your eyes and imagine, what does your ideal life look like? Who are you within it? How do you carry yourself? What emotions fill your chest? Joy, peace, confidence, love. Now take it further. Don't just see it. Immerse yourself in it. Hear the sounds around you. The laughter of loved ones, the rustle of leaves in the breeze, the hum of contentment beneath every moment. Smell the scents, the earthy aroma of rain, the sweetness of freshly baked bread, the crisp freshness of morning air. Touch the textures, the softness of fabric against your skin, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the solidity of ground beneath your feet. Most importantly, feel it all, the weightless joy, the steady calm, the electric excitement of living exactly as you were meant to. This is where the magic happens. Creation isn't fueled by words or plans alone. It's driven by emotion. Emotion is the language of the subconscious, the bridge between what you envision and what you bring into existence. When you feel your desired reality as though it's already yours, you align with its energy. You signal to the universe and to yourself that this outcome is not only possible, but inevitable. And yet, this practice requires more than passive visualization. It demands presence and intention. As your body relaxes, stay awake to the details. Notice how each sensation anchors you deeper into the experience. Lean into the feelings. They evoke gratitude for what you've already achieved or at the beauty surrounding you. Pride in the person you've become. These emotions act as magnets, drawing your imagined reality closer with every heartbeat. Here's the key. Don't approach this exercise as a wishful escape from the present moment. Instead, treat it as a rehearsal, a deliberate practice of embodying the life you're building. Each time you return to this vision, you strengthen its neural pathways in your brain. You condition yourself to think, act, and feel like someone who has already arrived. Over time, these small shifts compound, creating ripples that extend into your daily choices, relationships, and opportunities. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's immersion. If doubts creep in, acknowledge them without judgment. Then, gently guide your focus back to the feelings of abundance, fulfillment, and ease. Trust that even fleeting moments of alignment can spark profound changes over time. When you emerge from this practice, carry its essence with you. Let the clarity and confidence you cultivated linger in your thoughts and actions. Speak as though your dreams are unfolding. Move as though obstacles no longer stand in your way. Live as though the future you've envisioned is already taking shape around you, because in many ways it is. If this idea resonates with you, share it. Encourage others to step out of the realm of hoping and into the power of feeling. Together, let's remind one another that creation begins not with effort, but with emotion, with the vivid, visceral experience of the life we seek. Because when you let your mind rise while your body relaxes, you tap into the deepest truth of all. The life you desire isn't waiting for you, it's within you. And the more you feel it, the faster it will find its way to you. This isn't effort, it's surrender. This isn't effort, it's surrender. The power of your imagination is in its naturalness. When the state of having your desire feels like home, you're aligned. Let it feel normal. Let it feel inevitable. We live in a world that glorifies struggle. The idea that achieving anything meaningful requires relentless pushing, striving, and forcing. But true creation doesn't come from gritting your teeth or white-knuckling through life. It comes from letting go, from allowing yourself to sink into the effortless flow of what already exists within you. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting so deeply that effort becomes unnecessary. Picture a river. Water doesn't fight to reach the ocean. It simply flows toward it, guided by gravity and instinct. In the same way, when you surrender to the vision of your desires, you allow yourself to be carried forward by the current of alignment. There's no need to push or panic because you trust the process. You know where you're headed, and you let the universe handle the details. Your The magic happens when this imagined reality feels not like a distant dream, but like your present truth. When the life you envision stops feeling foreign and starts feeling familiar, like coming home after a long journey. This familiarity is the signal that you're in sync with your desires, that they've moved from someday to now, even if external circumstances haven't caught up yet. And here's the secret. The more naturally you inhabit this state, the faster it manifests. Why? Because resistance blocks flow while ease accelerates it. When you force something, you create tension, a gap between where you are and where you want to be. But when you surrender, you close that gap. You step into the energy of someone who has already arrived, making it impossible for the universe to ignore your frequency. So, how do you cultivate this sense of inevitability? Start by releasing the pressure to make things happen. Instead, focus on embodying the feelings associated with your desires. If financial freedom is your goal, ask yourself, how does abundance feel? Light, expansive, free, then rest in those sensations as though they're already yours. If deeper connection is what you seek, imagine the warmth of unconditional love, not as something you hope for, but as something you currently experience. Feel it in your chest. Let it radiate outward. Make it real. Remember, your imagination isn't a tool for fabrication. It's a reflection of your inner world made manifest. Its power lies in its simplicity, its naturalness. You don't have to strain or overthink. Just let yourself drift into the emotions, sights, sounds, and textures of the life you crave. Trust that these feelings are enough. They carry the blueprint of your future self, and the universe responds to their authenticity. When doubt creeps in, and it will gently remind yourself that this isn't about effort. It's about surrender. You're not trying to convince anyone, least of all yourself. You're simply resting in the knowing that what you desire is already yours. That it's not a question of if, but when. And in that knowing, you dismantle fear and replace it with faith. If this resonates with you, share it. Pass along the reminder that we don't achieve greatness through sheer force. We align with it through gentle surrender. Encourage others to stop fighting for their dreams and start flowing toward them together. Let's embrace the beauty of ease, the grace of trust, and the undeniable power of feeling at home in our desires. Because when you let it feel normal, when you let it feel inevitable, you unlock the door to everything you've been waiting for. And suddenly, the life you once dreamed of doesn't feel so far away. It feels like exactly where you belong. Before sleep, when your subconscious is most open. Before sleep, when your subconscious is most open, choose the scene that would naturally follow the fulfillment of your wish. Don't worry about how. That's not your job. Your job is to feel the result real. There's a unique power in the moments just before you drift off to sleep. The world quiets down, distractions fade away, and your conscious mind begins to loosen its grip, granting your subconscious unprecedented access to shape your reality. This is prime time for creation, the space where thoughts take root, emotions deepen, and intentions solidify into outcomes. Instead of letting this sacred window slip by unnoticed or cluttering it with worries, use it wisely. Picture the scene that follows the realization of your desire, not as something distant or hypothetical, but as an immediate continuation of your current existence. What happens next? Who are you in this new chapter? What actions do you take? How does life unfold around you? For example, if your wish is financial abundance, imagine waking up to a morning bathed in sunlight, feeling calm and secure. Visualize yourself effortlessly paying bills, investing in passions, or sharing generously with loved ones. Hear the sound of laughter during family dinners, or the satisfying click of keys as you book a dream vacation. Feel the lightness in your chest, the absence of stress, the presence of peace. If deeper connection is what you seek, envision cozy evenings spent talking heart to heart with someone who truly sees you. Imagine holding hands without hesitation, laughing until your sides ache, or simply sitting together in comfortable silence. Notice the warmth radiating through your body, the ease in your breath, the knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. The key here is detail, and not just visual detail, but emotional richness. Engage all your senses. Taste the coffee you sip while journaling about your goals. Smell the scent of fresh flowers on your dining table. Feel the texture of soft sheets as you rest after a fulfilling day. These specifics anchor your vision in reality, making it tangible enough for your subconscious to accept as truth. But, and this is crucial, don't concern yourself with the mechanics of how these desires will manifest. That's not your responsibility. Leave the how to the universe, to timing, to forces beyond your control. Trying to figure out every step only introduces doubt and resistance, pulling you out of alignment. Instead, focus solely on embodying the feeling of already having what you want. Feel it so deeply, so vividly that your subconscious can't distinguish between imagination and experience. This practice isn't about effort. It's about immersion. You're not straining to make anything happen. You're simply planting seeds in fertile soil. As you relax into sleep, trust that your subconscious will continue working behind the scenes, weaving your visions into the fabric of your reality. Over time, you'll notice subtle shifts. Opportunities may arise unexpectedly. Conversations may steer towards solutions. Actions that once felt daunting will suddenly seem natural and intuitive. None of this happens because you forced it. It happens because you aligned yourself with the energy of your desires. If this practice resonates with you, share it. Remind others that they don't need to carry the weight of figuring everything out. Encourage them to embrace the simplicity of feeling their way forward instead of thinking their way through. Together, let's honor the quiet power of nighttime surrender. A moment when our dreams become whispers to the universe, and the universe listens. Because when you choose the scene that follows your wish and immerse yourself in its reality, you're no longer hoping for change, you're living it, and that's how magic begins. You are not begging a distant force. You are not begging a distant force. You are communing with the most powerful version of yourself, the one that knows no fear, no lack, no time. Speak to this self without words. Speak in sensation, in belief. Too often we think of manifestation as pleading with some external power, a cosmic genie waiting to grant our wishes if we ask just right. But the truth is far more empowering. You are not dependent on anything outside of you. The answers, the strength, the clarity, they already exist within. What you're doing when you visualize, feel, and surrender isn't asking for help. It's connecting with the part of yourself that has always known abundance, peace, and possibility. This higher self isn't bound by doubt or limitation. It doesn't see obstacles. It sees pathways. It doesn't question whether something can happen. It assumes it already has. This version of you exists beyond fear, beyond lack, beyond the constraints of time and space. And here's the beautiful part. It's not separate from you. It is you, your truest essence, your purest potential. When you tap into this energy, you align with a frequency so powerful that resistance dissolves and creation flows effortlessly. But how do you communicate with this elevated version of yourself? Not through words, which are often tangled up in doubt or hesitation, but through sensation and belief. Words can be limiting. They rely on logic, structure, and language, all of which filter reality through the lens of what feels possible. Sensation, however, transcends these barriers. It speaks directly to the subconscious, bypassing the analytical mind and diving straight into the depths where transformation begins. When you connect with your higher self, let go of verbal negotiation. Instead, immerse yourself in the feelings associated with your desires. If confidence is what you seek, embody it fully, not as a future goal, but as your current state. Stand tall, breathe deeply, and allow the sensation of unwavering certainty to fill every cell of your being. If love is your longing, open your heart wide and feel its warmth radiating outward, knowing you're both worthy and capable of receiving it. Whatever you desire, speak to your higher self in the universal language of emotion, trust, joy, gratitude, and watch as it responds. Here's the profound truth. Your higher self doesn't need convincing. It already believes in the life you want because it understands that such a life is not only possible but inevitable. Your job is simply to meet it halfway, to rise above fear, doubt, and scarcity until you're vibrating at the same frequency. When you do, alignment happens naturally. The gap between where you are and where you want to be close is not because you forced it, but because you became it. And remember, this communion isn't reserved for moments of meditation or visualization alone. Every day presents opportunities to live from the perspective of your highest self. When challenges arise, pause and ask, how would my fearless, limitless self handle this? Then step into that energy. Act from that place of knowing, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. Over time, those small acts of alignment will rewrite your internal script, making courage, confidence, and clarity second nature. If this idea resonates with you, share it. Encourage others to stop looking outward for solutions and start turning inward for strength. Remind them and yourself that the answers they seek aren't floating somewhere in the ether. They're buried deep within, waiting to be uncovered. Together, let's embrace the power of speaking without words, of believing without conditions, of becoming who we were always meant to be. Because when you commune with your highest self, you realize there's nothing to beg for. Everything you could ever want is already yours. You just have to claim it. And the way you claim it isn't through effort, but through surrender, through trust, through sensation, through belief. Let the outer world fade. Let the outer world fade. The facts are old echoes. They're not your master. The outer only reflects what has been accepted within. So tonight, do not be fooled by appearances. Turn inward. The noise of the outer world is relentless news headlines screaming urgency. Social media feeds flashing comparisons, obligations pulling at your attention from every direction. But here's the truth. None of it owns you. None of it defines you unless you let it. Those external circumstances, the bills, the deadlines, the opinions of others are merely reflections of past thoughts, beliefs, and choices that have already come and gone. They're echoes of what was, not decrees of what must be. When you cling to these outdated narratives, you give them power over your present and future. You allow the weight of what is to overshadow the infinite potential of what could be. But when you step back and observe, you realize something profound. The outer world doesn't dictate your reality. It mirrors it. It shows you what you've subconsciously agreed to accept as true. If you're surrounded by lack, it's because somewhere inside you've believed in limitation. If you feel stuck, it's because part of you has resigned to stagnation. But here's where freedom lies. You can change the mirror by shifting what you accept within. You alter what appears without. And the first step toward this transformation is letting go of the illusion that the outer world holds any real authority over you. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, consciously release the grip of appearances. Silence the chatter about what's possible or impossible according to the rules of the physical realm. Instead, turn your focus inward to the quiet, unshakable truth that resides beneath the surface. This isn't about denial or escapism. It's about perspective. Recognize that the challenges you face aren't permanent fixtures, but temporary reflections of old agreements you no longer need to uphold. When you stop giving energy to those limiting beliefs, they begin to dissolve. In their place, new realities take shape once rooted in the expansive, boundless essence of who you truly are. So, how do you begin? Start by creating space between yourself and the outer world. Dim the lights, silence your devices, and sit quietly with your breath. Allow the distractions to drift away until all that remains is the stillness within. From this place of calm detachment, ask yourself, what am I ready to release? What stories have I outgrown? Then, gently set them aside, not with effort, but with ease, like peeling off layers of clothing that no longer fit. Let them fall away until you stand naked in your authenticity. In this sacred space, reconnect with the version of yourself that exists beyond limitation. Feel its presence, the steady rhythm of its heartbeat, the warmth of its light, the infinite wisdom it carries. This is the self that knows no fear, no lack, no time. This is the self that creates effortlessly, loves unconditionally, and lives fully. Spend a few moments simply being with this energy. Let it remind you that the outer world is not your master. It's merely a reflection, and reflections can always be changed. As you drift